up, One on Hip Hop? What's going on? It is Mr. Renaissance, Jamel Lamar. Yes, I am back. So before we, get into this incredible interview, as we always do, I want to thank every single person, and when I mean friend, family, followers, everybody who supports One on Hip Hop. I want to thank you personally for checking up on me. As you may not know, I got sick, so I've been away for a little tiny bit, but I'm back and I'm doing it, and I'm doing it big. Today we got a big, incredible interview with my man, CEO, inventor of a hot new website for independent music artists, DJs, producers, just lover of music. We talking about recorddrop.com. Ladies and gentlemen, my man, Steve Kidd.
Man,
what's going on, baby? How you doing, man?
Thanks for having me down. Appreciate it.
I thank you for taking this time, man, because I know you're a busy man. For all you who don't know, side note, now when you're watching Martin show on like 4 or 5 different networks, and you hear that theme music, it's because of this man right here. This man right here, that Martin. This man right here did the theme music. So every time, I hear about, he's the first person I think about now. Every time I hear the theme music, I don't think about Martin no more until he gets to the jokes. But back to recorddrop.com. What made you, as successful of a producer that you are, and you've worked with names that, reads like who's who in music, what made you say, you know what, I want to do something for, music, not just producers, artists, or record labels, radio, anything. I want to do something for music where the main focus is, let's get behind music and let's support real music.
Well, you just said it yourself. Most people who adopt music and who develop a love for music don't really think about the music business. When I was a kid and I first picked up a guitar, you're a musician, or you first got on the drums or whatever.
On my drum
it was it was all about the love of music, and then came the dreams, hoping that one day, once you start writing and producing that, people can hear it.
Yeah.
And yes, we all want to make a little bit of money. Of course, there's always that dream. but at the root of all that is the love for music.
Yeah.
And the biggest frustration is that you have all this talent out there, people who are really talented, who never really get an opportunity to be heard. Things are a little bit better now with technology. You have iTunes, you have Spotify, all these different places where you can put your music, social media, and so on. But just going back to the history of music, if you didn't work with a major label or a major indie label, your chances of reaching any real success in the industry was slim.
And me growing up in the industry, you are 1,000% right. It's funny that recently me and you actually had a conversation, and I brought up DJ Envy. Shout out to DJ Envy and the whole Breakfast Club. But one thing, I was listening to the Breakfast Club one morning, and or several mornings actually. And there are a couple of listeners that always ask DJ Envy, like, yo, why don't you play new music? Why don't you play new music? It's like and then he always has the same answer. Yo, I don't pick the music. I don't pick the music, which I always found to be funny. Like, yo, Envy, and no disrespect to Envy, we love Envy up here, but we find it funny that Power 105 isn't allowing him, or Revolt isn't allowing him to pick the music for his show.
Yeah. Well, the radio stations now, they're run by corporate America. You have one company that owns several stations, and they come up with a blueprint for what they think is going to be successful radio. And they expect everyone to fall in line. So they say, you're going to play this play. I always say, and I've shared this with people, my take on the whole radio industry is that radio is not really into the music business. They're not in the music business. They're in the advertising business. Yeah. They use music as a way to bring in advertisers, and advertisers are the one who brings in the money. So So whatever they put on that playlist has to bring in those advertisers. They have to get the audience to come in, get the advertisers, and that's how they make their money. And so, you know, at the end of the day, the music, for the most part, you know, takes a back seat. You know, that's why you hear the same thing over and over and over again. These songs, we play these songs, these are the ones that are gonna get the listeners, and these are the songs, once we get the listeners, this is what's gonna bring the advertisers. Now, don't get me wrong, there are people out there who wanna hear that music.
Yeah.
You know, and some people don't mind hearing the same song, you know, 100 times a day. Some people, oh, my song, you know, 100 times, they say, oh, that's my song playing again. They love it. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's just a small part of the music industry. What about the hundreds of thousands of people out there who are making good music, who don't have an opportunity to be heard? Who, you know, there's no room on that playlist for them. You know, and then just the whole dynamics of the music industry, you know, you get the smaller labels like, you know, web radio stations and college radio stations, and the royalties involved with having to pay, you know, to play this music. Artists need to get paid. But of course, you know, you start a small radio station on the web, you know, you may not have that kind of money. You know what I'm saying? To pay a record label to get, you know, some top artists on there. Yeah. But there are hundreds of thousands of indie artists who want you to play their music. They don't care. Just give me some exposure. Play my song. You know, play my song 100 times a day. Don't worry about the royalty right now. I'm just trying to get my name out there. And I know people who say that. There are artists out there, yes, they do want to make money. I'm not saying nobody wants to make money, but you can't make money if you're not known.
And that's where recorddrop.com
and that's where we
comes in play. Well, for everybody who's not maybe as of yet clear about what's recorddrop.com, what would you say, well, let me just come on and ask you, what is recorddrop.com?
So recorddrop.com is a social music platform, not unlike Soundcloud and other services that are out there doing the same thing. So basically what we do is we sit in that space, that pre-promotion space, you know, a pre-release space rather. So before a song hits the market, an artist has to promote their music to generate buzz, to see how it's going to do in the market, to test the market, so to speak. So that's where we sit, but we do it from a digital platform. So artists can upload their music to our website, select what genre it's going to be in, and then we go out to the listeners, the public, and we say, what kind of music do you want to listen to? I want R&B, I want pop, I want, you know, whatever genre you want. And then we say, well, how much music do you want? You know, do you want 10 songs per month? You want 100? How much music can you tolerate listening to per month? And so they tell us, yes, give me some old school hip hop and give me 50 songs a month. You know, and then Leslie says, oh, I want, you know, give me 100. You say, oh, give me 20. So we put all that in. Then when the artist uploads their music, our database, our algorithm goes out and says, find me X number of people who want this kind of music, who haven't reached their song quota for the month, and put it into their account.
Oh, wow. So basically, recorddrop.com is the team for independent artists. When you need your song or maybe even your album, EP, LP, to be put out, and you're looking for those different markets to reach out to see where just
see how will my song do. How is my song going to do? So for example, I could be some kid in the basement. I come up with a song. Nobody knows me from Adam. I upload to recorddrop.com. I want to see what people think about it. So what we do in our database is all automated. It goes out and it looks for people who are interested in that genre, and it gives them the song. They already told us they want music like this. And they already told us that they want a certain amount of music like this. So we fulfill that. We give it to them. They listen to it, and then we make that connection between the artist and the listener. The artist gets the song. They can listen to it. They can rate it. They get feedback on it. If they like it, we have what's called the song crate, so they can put it inside their song crate. Remember the DJs back then?
Yeah, man.
So we call it the crate.
Look, big shout out to DJ Red Alert, because I carried a lot of his crates. Chill out. I carried a lot of his crates. DJ Dino Pereira, I carried all of his crates. So shout out to those DJs who, put me to work. But yeah, I remember them days, man.
Yeah. So now it's a digital crate. You put it in there, and then once it's in the crate, that's where the connection goes. All that information goes back to the artist. We tell them who listened to the song, what the rating is, The listener then has connections to the artist's social media pages. So now they say, well, I love this song. Inside the crate, they see, oh, this person is at YouTube, they're on Instagram or whatever. They can click and go straight to that artist and learn more about the artist. They can also download the song. And then the other thing is they can share the song with other Record Drop members. So let's say I'm a member and you're a member, and I get a song from a particular artist that you didn't get. Well, then I can send a message to you and say, hey man, I want to share my crate with you. Check out what I got. Let me see what you got. So now, then it just begins to grow even more. Everybody's sharing the song, and all that information goes back to the artist. Who got the song? Where they located? How many times did they listen to it? Did they download it? Did they share it? How many clicks went through to my social media? And then we're telling them where that person went. You got 10,000 people in Brooklyn. Not only did they put it in their crate, they shared it, but they went through to your Instagram page. So now we're building up their Instagram traffic.
And RecordDrop.com embodies all music. There's not one genre of music that's not. I mean, because me, like, as much as I love soca or dancehall, sometimes you hear that song and you don't know who the artist is. You're like, yo, I love the record, but I don't know. But now, you know what? Let me go to RecordDrop.com. Let me look at the record, or let me see. But as long as it's also independent, though.
Yes. So we deal with independent artists, and the definition of independent, to me, is anybody that's making music on their own, who's not attached to a major record label. So it can be an artist who sold millions of records who don't have a record deal now. And unfortunately, there are a lot of artists who fall into that category. I mean, we could go back to the 80s and 90s. Think about the playlists that you heard, these things you heard on the radio back in the mid to late 90s. Those same artists, how many of them are being played today? A lot of them don't have record deals. A lot of them lost those deals. Doesn't mean they're not good. But we have this term, old school. And once you unfortunately, you age out of this industry. But talent doesn't get old. But let me not get off track. So an independent artist can be anybody who is out there making music on their own, who want to reach an audience or their audience. And so you put your music up, and we get it out to, and we cater to all genres. And so a typical artist can take all the data that we provide them, and they can do things with it now. Data is valuable. So let's say, for example, you get your reports back from RecordDrop.com, and we tell you, well, you got 1,000 people in New York who are bumping your song on their phones and on their iPads or whatever the case might be.
If you got 1,000 people, trust me, you doing something right.
and you got people in DC, you got people in LA, you got people in the Midwest and the South.
Oh, Wichita, Kansas.
In Wichita, Kansas, over in Europe. So we give you all those reports. Now you can take those reports and say, I got 1,000 people in New York. Of those 1,000, 500 is in Brooklyn. So now I can call up a club in Brooklyn and say, hey, I got 500 people in your area who are listening to my song. Let me get a show.
So basically, like, RecordDrop.com is it's helping you move.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, move. It's just helping you move. If you need to, figure out what promoters to approach, and now you have numbers. Like the man Clarence Avon says, everything starts with and ends with a number.
That's right.
And RecordDrop.com gives you those numbers. So,
that's right.
I mean, that right there, from what I'm hearing, it's like it's a game change. Now, you said that RecordDrop.com only works with the independent artists. Why not the big labels?
So there are a number of reasons why. It's not that we won't work with the major labels. We want to work with them on our own terms. So, for example, the biggest music social site, and I won't name the name, I won't keep dropping the name, but they started off putting a lot of major label music up on their platform. And then what happened? The major labels came in and said cease and desist. So they then had to go in and they had to set up deals with these major labels in order to be able to have that music on their platform. And as a result, they sort of got away from their core business model. In the beginning, they were catering to independent artists. A lot of indie artists came up on that platform, but they kind of got away from that. And now you see the site is littered with major label, acts. And those acts, a lot of times, because of who they are, because of, the vast audience that they cater to, wind up in first place on the charts and first place on the homepage. And I guess that helps that platform, but it alienates the indie artists, in my opinion. So we want to steer away from that.
Okay.
A major label can say, we want to put our music up on recorddrop.com. Fine, put it up.
Yeah.
Open up an account and put it up. But if they come and say, well, hey, we want our music up there, but we want so and so to be featured on the homepage. Well, that's not something that we're gonna do.
No.
Everybody puts their music up, and it's the audience, it's the public, it's the crowd that decides who's going to be on top and who's not.
So you recorddrop.com is looking to give the audience full control, no politics by any given means. Don't make a difference how much money you have or don't have.
Right.
As long as you have something special within that song, project, and the world loves it, you got something.
You can move.
Yeah.
The audience is the new A&R. The audience is the new A&R.
I'm not sure if I quite would agree. would agree. And that's because I go back to some true A&Rs.
Yeah.
But I do see where they have that. I kind of see what you're saying. At the same time, I kind of not fully.
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, let me explain. What the reason why I say that. So an A&R is, obviously we know all the roles of an A&R, to develop the artist,
and for
manage
some of you artists who don't know what A&R stands for, I'm gonna say it correctly: artists and repertoire.
So we know that they develop the artist, they handle, but good A&Rs know how to spot talent. Back in the days, they used to go to the club and do all that. And a good A&R who has a music background, who understands music, you can't replace that. I think that the industry kind of got away from that a little bit.
I agree.
There are a lot of, and I'm not shouting anybody, I'm not trying to point the finger at any one particular person, but industry-wide, there are a lot of people in that role who didn't qualify for the position, so to speak. And so it kind of diminished the role.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, but the reason why I say the audience is the new A&R, because ultimately it's up to the audience. I mean, take record pools. Record pools, labels send music to the record pools for free, vinyl and so on. The DJs take it, and they go to the clubs or radio station, they play it, and they gauge the audience response.
Yeah.
And then the audience comes back and says, hey, the audience loved it. And then they give that back to the record label, and then the record label makes business decisions based on that. To say, hey, the audience in Atlanta or this particular town loved it. Let's focus on marketing attention over here. Yeah. But who drove that? The audience.
Very true.
The audience. True. Ultimately, it boils down to the music buying community.
Yeah.
Do they like it or don't they? If they don't like it, nothing happens. If they like it, something happens. But there are a lot of middlemen in between that process. Yeah. So what we do is we say, you know what? Artists upload the music. The public told us what they want. We're gonna put that music directly into their hands, and then they're gonna tell you what they think about the song.
So recorddrop.com, I mean, of course, it's magnificent for artists, but with everything you just said about recorddrop.com, it's also it helps a lot of other areas in the business of music. Like for instance, DJs. You may be a DJ from New York, but I mentioned Wichita, Kansas. You may want to know what's popping out in Wichita, Kansas, and you don't know because in every market, sometimes something is more powerful over here than it is over here.
That's right.
So as a DJ, you may want to go, well, what's popping in Wichita, Kansas, and let's say hypothetically, the artist XV. He's not maybe known in New York like that, but in Wichita, Kansas, he's Jay-Z. Right. He's the big thing. So, you play his record, the whole dance floor is going to just go crazy. So, recorddrop.com, you can go and you can honestly see that by, wow, I see this in this area. This artist is, like I said, it helps DJ, radio.
It helps managers. So, for example, let's say you manage artists. And an artist comes to you and says, hey man, I'm really good, you need to sign me. So normally a manager would be like, let me listen to it. Okay, I like it. Let's put something together, put a little budget together. Let's put it out there and see what happens.
Yeah.
But they've already invested. They've already invested time. You know, perhaps a little money, putting together a little demo, whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
Come to recorddrop.com. Say, hey man, sign me. I'm a great artist. Tell you what, let's put it up on recorddrop.com. Let's see what the audience says. Let's see what your numbers come back with. You know what I mean? Now, if the numbers come back and it's like, wow, oh look, you bumping in this market, you bumping in that market, the public is feeling you.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to take this and I'm going to take it to the next level. So it becomes a valuable tool, not just for managers, but for record labels. They can say, listen, man, let me see your numbers. They kind of do that now.
Yeah.
You go to a record label and says, hey, I got this hot artist. They're going to check your social media. They're going to see what you're doing on Instagram. They want to see that you've actually helped yourself.
Not only that, I mean, publications. I mean, One on Hip Hop.
Right. Yeah.
You come for us for an interview. You know, oh yeah, I'm popping in London. You know, well, you on recorddrop.com? Let's really see how good you do.
Let's see. You know, you put it out there, and you know the audience is going to tell you if they like it. They're going to tell you. And then it works the opposite direction. Let's say I'm like, yo, this song is hot. You know what I mean? You know, I'm a manager. I put a lot of time and effort into this artist, and I put it up, and I'm thinking, well, let me see how this does. And nobody's feeling it. Right? So I send this out to 50,000 people. Let's say I give it to 50,000 people. And they all come back, and on a scale of 1 to 5, they say, man, this is a 1 or a 2. And you got people in the South and people in the West Coast and people in New York and Midwest, and they all saying the same thing. Yeah. Do I need to give it to 100,000 people to move your
no. If you ain't getting 50,000 telling you like 1 and 2s, and that other 50,000 don't need to see a 1 or 2. They need to see the 10s.
Right. I mean, I can give it to 2,000 people. If they all say it's not a good record, giving it to 3,000 ain't gonna all of a sudden move the needle for you. Chances are, and you look at every other industry, that's how they gauge. Look at politics. When they say, oh, plus or minus X% of people feel this way about this politician, they didn't give it to everybody in the world. They gave it to a sampling of people. Yeah. And those people who sort of gave feedback on that, you know, fall into a certain demographic, maybe a certain, you know, and then that, based on that feedback, they can say, well, based on this, you know, we can say a certain number of people feel this way about it, and then they do like the plus or minus, you know, percentage or whatever. So they do that in politics. They do it in advertising. You know, they'll say how many people like, you know, Captain Crunch. Right, so they don't give it to everybody in the country who likes Captain Crunch.
And recorddrop.com is not like you know other social media outlets where you know numbers can be tampered with or ain't none of that. If the numbers are there, that means the people are there. Right.
So basically, like I said, we give it to the public, and we don't hand deliver it. You know, we develop a database and an algorithm, and once the song is uploaded, you know, our technology says, okay, let's find the people who said that they want this music and give it to them. Okay. And then they're going to listen to it, and they're going to give feedback on it. And then that feedback is straight from the source.
Now, right now, recorddrop.com is mainly music, but is it going on to other avenues within music, like music videos or live performances and so on?
Yeah, we like to do that. We want to expand into video, into film, and so on. As a young company, you know, there are challenges with doing that. You know, because we're a startup, and you know, so going into film and all that and video, a lot of bandwidth, a lot of storage, and so we have to sort of grow into that. So we're starting off with this particular aspect of the industry. Is what we know best. You know, we're musicians. We're people who have worked in the industry, but we do have plans to expand into other markets, not just with film and TV. We want to go into like ebooks, you know, same concept. So let's say if you're a writer or an author, you know, and you can, you know, upload excerpts of your book, and we send it out to people in those genres, you know, fiction or drama, whatever the case might be, and they can read it, and if they like it, they'll tell you what the book, and then you
can test the commercials and see. Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna kind of expand it to different markets.
Well, you know what? Let's actually take a look. Let's show our One On Hip Hop audience, like, you know, when you go to the website, the steps on, recorddrop.com and how to get comfortable and get ready to just, open your ears to some brand new music.
That's what's up, man. Let's check it out.
Let's go.
Right. So basically, when you sign into recorddrop.com, there are two accounts. You're either a musician, a music pro, we call it a music pro account, and then there's a listener account. Either account is interchangeable, so as a music pro, I can still listen to music, but it just allows you to upload and distribute music. So the first thing you'll see is the listening room. So anytime you receive music on recorddrop.com, it goes into your listening room. And this is where you evaluate music. So for example, I have a number of songs here that I've received. So I can click on any one of these songs. They're in different genres. So for example, I can click on this particular song and it begins to play. Right? As it plays, I can rate the song, I can see who the artist is and so on. So I'm going to give it a 5. And when I click this, it tells me, give some comments. Great song. Then it says, would you like to add it to your crate? Right?
No.
So I can just pause it. So I can say, yeah, I want to add this song to my crate. I love it. Right? And if I do, then it goes into the crate section. And we're going to show you what happens there. Okay. And then it also asks you, do you want to make this artist a favorite artist? If you say yes, that means that the artist now has a direct link to you. The next time he uploads songs, he can go directly to you and says, hey man, I'm a favorite artist. I can distribute songs directly to you. So no middleman. He doesn't have to go out to the whole Record Drop community. He can go straight to you, which is really cool. So that's a nice feature. So
that's definitely dope. Because I know a lot of artists who really love to be one-on-one with their audiences. So that's a great feature. Yes.
Yeah, it's a nice feature. So if I click OK, it then falls off my list and it goes into my song crate. Now once it's in my crate, first the artist got that information. He knows that I listened to it, I gave feedback on it, I gave it a 5, I said it's a great song, all that went back to the artist. And he knows where I'm located. Oh, this guy is out in Brooklyn or Manhattan or Jersey or wherever he or she may be. So now once it's in my crate, the listener now has a number of things that they can do with that song. So for example, we'll use this song. I can see the name of the song, I can play it straight from my crate, I can add it to a playlist, I can download it.
Is there any way to see any of the credits, like producer, editing?
So that's the thing we're going to be adding in version 2, which is coming out in about a month. We're going to add liner notes and who the producer is, lyrics and all that, so you'll be able to click to see that. Yeah. But now you also can see social media links.
Yeah.
So I can say, oh, this artist, I like that song. Let me see what's up with their Instagram page. So I can click on their Instagram page or go to their Facebook page.
If they have it.
If they have it. So I'm checking out his Facebook page. So now I'm driving traffic to this artist's, social media.
Yeah.
And we capture all that information. So that artist, Psyche of Sound, can now say, oh, I had from Record Drop X number of people go to my Facebook page, and X number of people go, and then of course Facebook and Instagram is calculating those numbers too. So it's driving up traffic to your social media. So these are some of the things that I can do. I can go to the YouTube page for this artist, see what they're all about. Right? Check out their latest video. So we're doing all that. So what I would say, the artist does not have to abandon their existing social media. We work along with your existing social media. As a matter of fact, if you have your social media pages set up, that's an asset on recorddrop.com because it will be pushing traffic to you, right? We can also send a message directly to that artist through Record Drop. So I can say, hey man, thanks, great song, let me know if you're having a show, and it shows up in that artist profile.
Or if you're a promoter and you see somebody you're looking for an opening act and just something special, you can come perform.
So you can do that.
Okay.
So these are different ways. Another way that the listener can engage with the artist. Let's say, for example, you have an account and I have an account. So I can go in and I can say, you know what, I'm going to share my crate. And I put in your username.
Okay.
Once I put in your username,
Playboy 11233.
In your account, you're going to get a received request from me.
Okay.
Saying Steve wants to share his crate.
Yeah.
And then you accept that request, and then it shows up then I can click on your name, and then I can see what's in your crate, and you can see what's in my crate.
Okay.
And then we can start sharing. So that's even more, promo for the artist.
Yeah.
Because from that one listener, he may share the crate with 100 of his friends on Record Drop.
Okay.
And now all of a sudden, he's got 100 additional people in addition to the regular distribution. So now his profile is just growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And his fan base is growing.
And that's dope for DJs too, because I know a lot of DJs that they like, especially like DJ crews like the Union. They like to share records with each other. So
that's right.
if the Union had a recorddrop.com account, all of them can share like the hot new record with each other, or lit digital DJs. They can share records with each other. So this is actually very dope for not even just listeners but DJs as well.
Yeah, because you have a list of all your friends, your DJ members, and you can click on their crate at any time to see what they're getting through recorddrop.com and vice versa, right? Let's take a look at the artist tools.
Okay.
So this is a profile for the artist, right? Here are a list of the songs that the artists have uploaded. Okay. Here are the reports that this producer. This is a test account, but you click on reports, and you can see here right now. This is a test song, so there's nothing here. But you can see the number of users who have reviewed the song, who added it to their crate. You can see how many people added to their favorites, the rating that the song received. Click here, you can download the reports into a PDF format, and you can take that. So let's say I sent it out to, I was going to use my pointer.